Are you looking to get more views, more clicks, and more sales from your YouTube videos? If so, I'm Ray the Video Guy, and today I'm going to share with you a tip about YouTube ads.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.
Okay, so I wanted to quickly go over what a campaign is inside of your Google Ads when you're doing video ads. And this works also if you're doing any kind of display or search campaigns as well. Essentially, a campaign is the overall set that you're going to be creating for your video ads. And for instance, this might mean that for a specific product, you might run a campaign. So if you're selling umbrellas, you might have a campaign specific to umbrellas, and then under that, you'll have your ad groups, and then you'll have your individual video ads. And the way this works is similar to this. Let's look at this chart. Okay, so imagine that you or your client are a lawyer and you want to run some ads. So what you may do is you may make a couple of campaigns. For instance, if you happen to do criminal law, bankruptcy, and personal injury, you might do 3 campaigns, one for each of those different areas. So one entire campaign devoted to criminal law, one for bankruptcy, and one for the personal injury. Inside of each of these, you'll create an ad group. So for instance, under criminal law, you might have a DUI ad group and a robbery ad group. Under bankruptcy, you might have a Chapter 7 ad group and a Chapter 13 ad group. And under personal injury, you might have a car crash ad group and a malpractice ad group. Underneath each of these are where your actual individual video ads will be. So under DUI, you might have 2 ads. Under robbery, you might have 3 video ads. Under Chapter 7, you might have another 2 video ads. Under Chapter 13, you might have another 3 video ads. Under car crash, you might have another 3, and under malpractice, another 2 video ads. So your individual campaign areas will have multiple ad groups, and each ad group will have its own videos. That's the basics of how a campaign works. So knowing that that's the basics of how a campaign works, you also need to understand that sometimes a campaign could have simply one ad group and one ad in it, depending upon what you're trying to do. So for instance, if you were selling a specific product and you only had one video that you're going to advertise, you might have a campaign for that product, an ad group for that video, and then that one video inside that ad group. However, you could have multiple videos and multiple ad groups in there as well. And to get started creating a campaign, all you do is go to the campaigns button here, and then click this plus button here. Then you'll be able to choose new campaign and choose the type of campaign that you want to run. Now, depending upon which version of AdWords you happen to be using when you do this, this may look a little different. Right now, we're choosing the type of campaign such as sales, leads, website traffic, product and brand consideration, brand awareness and reach, app promotion, and one without any sort of guidance. Now, once you choose this, for instance, if we decide to do brand awareness, and we click on this, you'll see that you can choose a display ad or a video ad. In our case, we're always going to be choosing the video ad. If you have a different version of AdWords, you may be choosing the video first and then choosing the type of campaign underneath that. Why it's different? Who knows? I'm sure at some point we'll all have the same. I've got multiple ad accounts that I have to log into, and quite frankly, it's random which one you're going to get. So it's going to be different depending upon which version you have. And again, hopefully at some point it'll be the same. But either way, you're going to be choosing the type of video, or excuse me, the type of ad, and then the goal of the ad. Okay, so in this case here, we're going to choose, as I said, brand awareness and reach. And by the way, on any of these, you can see what types of ads you can run. So look for video, 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 and of course, this one here, you can use with anything. So video is perfectly fine. The only one that doesn't have video is the app promotion. So once you've chosen the kind of ad you want to run, we're going to choose video. And this is going to bring us down to the type of campaign that we want to run here. So we can choose a skippable in-stream for this one, a bumper, a non-skippable in-stream, an out-stream, or an ad sequence. Now, depending upon which type of ad you choose up here, these options may differ. So for instance, if we were to choose website traffic and come down and choose video, you'll notice that we don't have those options because in this particular case, the only option that we have is an in-stream or pre-roll ad. If we come to the leads and we hit video, once again, you're not going to have those options. For sales, you're not going to have those options. But when you do brand awareness, which is a little more open, you're going to get these options. And that's why I wanted to choose this one so that you could see these. So a skippable in-stream is the traditional pre-roll ad that we're used to seeing whenever we watch videos. A bumper is slightly different. You can add these into your campaigns. The non-skippable in-stream, this is the same type of in-stream ad, except the people cannot skip it. They have to watch that. An outstream is the exact opposite if you've got a video that's going to run at the end of another video. And then an ad sequence is something new that they've added that allows you to have multiple videos where an individual person will see that first video the first time they see your ad. The next time they're served an ad from you, they'll see video number 2. And then the next time, video number 3, so that you can tell a story all the way down the line. And hopefully if you've got 4 or 5 of these videos, the same person will be served your ad multiple times so that they see this progression of ads all the way through. Again, this is something new and requires that you make videos that make sense for this. You want to have videos that play off of each other so that the next time the person sees it, they remember the first time. So most of the time, we're going to be choosing the skippable in-stream ad here, and you're going to hit continue. In here, you're going to give the campaign a name. So you want to give this a nice descriptive name. You've got 128 characters to use here. So for instance, this could be, if we talk about our lawyer, we could say Jones Law. And maybe this one is the DUI campaign, okay? And this is going to be all DUI ads, okay? So if you've got multiple videos. And so that just allows you in the back end to know which one you're looking at, because if you put, campaign 2, you're not going to remember what that is when you've got 20 campaigns in there. So putting in a nice description there is going to help you later on to make sure that you know which one you're looking at. Now down here, campaign total or daily, this is where you can choose how much you want to spend. So you could spend, $100 a day, or you could come in here and decide, you know what, I'm going to spend $3,000, and however long that takes is however long that takes. And if that takes a week or a month, then we're going to spend $3,000 and get $3,000 in ads. Okay. Personally, for me, I like to do the dailies, but there's no particular reason to choose one over the other. It's just a personal preference, really. Down here, you have a delivery method where you can do standard or accelerated. Standard just means they're going to try and take your money, your $100 a day, and they're going to try and distribute it equally throughout the day. You can also do accelerated, and this is where they're going to try and spend all that money as fast as possible so that you get very quick results. It's up to you, again, how you want to do that. I personally leave it at standard. That allows it, to test different parts of the day, because in your analytics, you'll be able to see, oh, gee, most of my ads are being seen, from 5 o'clock p.m. till 8 o'clock p.m. So if you see that kind of stuff, that helps you to do that. If you do accelerated, you're not going to have a choice. It's just going to blast it out there as fast as possible. And down here, you can choose to select a date to start. Usually that's going to be as soon as possible, but you can come in here and you can choose a date if you want. Again, most of the time I choose as soon as possible. Now down here, the end date, if you have a specific end date that you want to use, you can put that in here. So for instance, we're doing $100 a day. If we only want to do that for a month, we could come in and we could choose a month from now so that it shuts off. If there's no end date and we want it to just continue forever until we tell it to stop, then you can leave it at none. And that's what I typically do with that. Unless, again, if it's a sale, let's say it's a sale that's going to end on the 15th, then you can make sure that it turns off then as well. And down here, you've got your bidding strategies where you can choose a target CPM, and that's your only choice here. You can see there's different things like you can choose cost per view, cost per thousand, but it's not going to give you that option with this particular type of ad. You can only do the cost per thousand here, and you can read about it on the right-hand side. Down below this, you have your networks. Now this is where you can choose where you want your videos to show up. By default, YouTube videos, obviously, they're going to, these YouTube ads are going to show up on YouTube videos. But you can choose whether or not to put the videos on the display network. Now this would be if, let's say, some other website is running display ads that allow video, then your video will show up on their website. Personally, I find that these do pretty well. So there's no reason to turn it off. Some people don't like to do that. They like to have more control and they can turn it off. Totally up to you whether you want to do that or not. I would test it both ways and see which does well for you. If it does better turned off, then keep it turned off. And down here in the languages, if your video or your ads are in a certain language, you can choose that. So in this case here, ours is going to be in English. So we're going to select English. If you think it's okay that anybody hear it because they may maybe they speak English as well, you could leave it at all. But typically I'll just put English to make sure that we spend the money the best. And down here, you can choose the country. And if this is a local ad, you can get even more granular. So for instance, if this is in Boston, we could put in Boston, and you'll see it automatically chooses the Boston, either Boston and Nashua area or Boston itself. You can also do Boston, England. So there's a lot of different places, New Boston in Texas, but of course we're talking about Boston, Massachusetts. So we can choose that. And now our ad's only going to run to people in the Boston, Massachusetts area, which means if you're a local business, in case of our lawyer here that we made up, Jones Law, if they're in Boston and that's the only area they want to serve, well, now you've got the ability to limit it to only that area. And again, you can do United States, you can do countries, you can do counties, you can even do zip codes. So if I put in my zip code here, you'll see it pulls it up here. So I could choose just that area. And you'll notice now, when we come over on the right-hand side, the impressions go way down. Actually, 4.9 million is a lot more than I would have expected. So that's going to only serve our ads to that particular zip code there. And you can add more than one, by the way. So if you wanted to add multiples, you can do that. Now down here, you can choose the type of inventory that you want. The expanded inventory means that it's going to pretty much put it on everything. The standard inventory is going to put it on almost everything except for things that are definitely questionable, things like strong profanity, sexual content, any type of violence, etc. So you can limit that. Or you can go with the limited, which is really going to limit down what you're doing. It's not going to go on anything that has even moderate profanity, etc. Okay. You can also, there's also more in here, but quite honestly, we usually leave these at standard, and that's up to you again. Down here, you can choose the type of content that you don't want your videos to show on. So if you don't want your ads to show up on tragedy and conflict, you can select that or any of these here, and it'll limit it so it doesn't show up on these. So again, depending upon what your client wants or what you want or where you want your stuff to be seen, you can make these choices here as well. And then down here, excluded types of content. So you can choose to exclude embedded content. You can choose to exclude live streams and games. And that's up to you. And the reason that they have these here, embedded videos, because it's going to be on another site. Live videos, just because you never know what's going to happen on a live video. And then the reason they have games in here, you would think games would be pretty good, but it's a younger crowd. Tends to be a crowd that's, maybe under where you want to be selling to. And not only that, but they're paying attention to games. They're long form, and people are kind of passively watching. So you may not get the best results from that, and that's why they separate that out here. And then you can choose the different types of labeled content. So for instance, mature audiences, you could turn that off if you want. So you don't want your stuff on anything with mature audiences. And that's how you set up your campaign. After that, that's when you're going to set up your ad group and, of course, your videos here. But we'll cover that in a different video. This is the basics of the campaigns, and I hope that makes sense to you. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know. Well, there you go. That's how easy it is to create a campaign inside of YouTube ads. If you want to learn more about how to create YouTube ads, we have a very special free course that you can pick up right now by clicking the link down below this video. You'll be able to download it and start learning all about YouTube ads right away.